One in before the news. I was sitting in for Simon Mayo this week and couldn't help notice the amount of time the sports reader mentioned that you could download the 5 Live Checkered Flag podcast. They also had a series of prime time trails. I shall be reporting this to the BBC Trust. In my eyes, it's only being done because I'm Irish and the BBC are being institutionally racist. We have not had one single trail or one mention of Fighting Talk on the whole week. So it's time to rewrite some wrongs. It's a shame it's had to come to this. It's a breakdown between Fighting Talk and the BBC bosses here. Who knows where it'll lead? Who knows where it'll lead? But I want to know, and it's the golden envelope round. Guys, free answer. Say whatever you want. What's the best sports podcast about that you can download for free via iTunes and other download sites in the 5 Live website? It's really up to you what you want to say. I don't want to coerce you at all. Bobby?
Can I start? Because I've been in New Zealand, and that's Fighting Talk.
That's a good answer. I'll give you 3 points there straight away. I wonder will he match the golden envelope, though. Greg?
Well, you know, I hate to agree with Bobby. You know, I generally I have throughout his managerial career, and I thought all the moves he made as a player were the right ones. I think he's right. I think it's fighting.
Points there as well. Ian?
Okay.
Fighting Talk, I think.
Okay, yeah. Ellie?
Well, for pure value for money and all the hidden extras you get as well, it's got to be Fighting Talk.
Let's open the golden envelope.
The tension's unbearable.
I thought there's a few, but I went for Fighting Talk. 13 points for everyone in that round. No need to do the scores as it stands. It's half time of Fighting Talk. Don't forget, what drinks would sports people have across their backs? That's a question too. 85058 fighting at bbc.co.uk. Welcome back to Fighting Talk, which is available for free on podcast. Let me tell you what's happening the rest of the day in 5 Live at Sports City. The top 2 in action in the Premier League, live coverage of their games, plus live coverage of Alan Shearer's second outing as Newcastle manager, and the US Masters Golf on 5 Live at Augusta with Ian Carter from 9pm. Also, it's a big weekend for sport, and on Monday from 6am, of course, the county cricket season has started. Sheila Fogarty will be at Lord's. Oh, hold on, no, she's in Lourdes. Apologies, my mistake. Let's do the first question of the second half. What is the single most season-defining fixture of that Easter programme? First up for that one, please, Greg Brady.
Well, it's been a great race in the championship. I don't find anything right now beyond the top 4 compelling about the Premiership. People know they've talked to me before and they say, why aren't you a fan of relegation? And it just doesn't interest me. I know if you're going to the matches, it's meaningful. But Burnley, Colin, you missed out on this. Burnley went to Charlton the one weekend I was there in late October, and a thrilling 1-1 draw. I'm sure I've made it sound more thrilling than it actually was. It was
just by using the word thrilling.
Yeah, it was so back and forth and so many chances. But Burnley sits in 6th place right now in the championship. They need to hold off certain teams, and they're home against Queen Park Rangers today. But I just want to point out, you mentioned the podcast. That's Fighting Talk karma. When 3 members of the staff go to see Burnley play, and then all of a sudden they go on a long Carling Cup run, all of a sudden they're in it to potentially get promoted to the Premiership. Do we really think that happens without Fighting Talk staff karma? I doubt it.
And that's just why people need to have it in their lives, right? Either live or via the podcast. Bobby.
Yes.
Hi, how are you today?
All right.
Good. All right, just answer the blooming question, smart Alec.
I've got to go in and disagree with Greg there. It's Lincoln and Luton for me.
Yeah.
Because Luton started this season minus 30 points. Minus 30.
Could they do it?
How can they? They got to 22 now. If they've had all their points, 52, well out of trouble. 40,000 support them at Wembley last week.
That was amazing.
40,000, and even David Pleat went, that must be sad.
Yeah. Ian.
And Monty Panesar.
Ian, no more war beds. No more.
Right, okay.
We're going to draw a line under it here because we have much respect for you.
A line in the sand. Is
yeah.
That right? I think Stoke versus Newcastle. It is. Well, this is quite apt because, of course, Newcastle and Stoke. Well, Stoke, I think. Look, Newcastle think this is a game they could possibly win, right? And I think that's a bit of an insult to Stoke because Stoke have won. They've only lost 3 games all season at home, and they got an amazing home record. And I think this is going to be a tough game for Newcastle. They've only won 6 games all season. I think that is a season-defining moment.
Very right. And most Newcastle fans are saying the same thing. Certainly, the one on our team doesn't even want to watch today. He's not feeling hopeful with that. Ellie.
There are people who will say that Brentford against Exeter, lots of Devonians making their way up to London for that one. Season-defining, promotion-defining fixture at the top of League Two. But I'm going to go for Harlequins against Leinster tomorrow afternoon in the quarterfinals of the Heineken Cup. Dean Richards has done the most amazing job with Quins. They were in League One 3 seasons ago. They beat Stade Francais home and away, which is an astonishing achievement, particularly in Paris. Dean Richards is just one, he's not a man of many words, but he does everything so quietly, so efficiently. They've opted to play at the Stoop rather than go over the road to Twickenham, which is possibly Leicester's mistake because they've opted to go to the Walkers Stadium rather than play at Welford Road. They could do the double Harlequins then, they could do the Heineken Cup and the league double, but Brian O'Driscoll, captain of Leinster, he's already a Grand Slam winning captain. Could he be a Heineken Cup winning captain as well?
So that's the game, the spanner in the works. Spanner in the works if he grabs that by the scruff of the neck. Good to mix the sports up there. Now, team, we asked people at home, our valued listeners and podcasters, to come up with sports drinks in the back of jerseys of sports people. We got a massive response. John Daly, I'm not fussy. Jim from Leeds says Audley Harrison's a non-alcoholic lager. No punch to it. Joseph in Birmingham says Steve McLaren, any drink with an umbrella. Gareth Southgate is Bailey's, always on the rocks. Joey Barton as a carton of Yop, a touch too thick and leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Steve in Newcastle, Boris Becker, Buckfast, and Wayne Rooney is Dandelion and Burdock, my nan's favourite, says Pat, who sent that in on the email. Thank you very much for all of those big responses. You're right, let's clap them. Yay! Let's say.
Somebody is listening then.
How dare you? What are you talking about? At a time when our sovereignty is being threatened, I don't expect comments like that. When the BBC are ganging up against us, I don't expect our own people to do it.
Aston, for or against that point?
See if you talk over the start of one of my questions again, Gold. I'm gonna put that top on and stretch it 3 sizes. Aston Amos's favourite book. Former cricket umpire and professional Yorkshire man Dickie Bird chose his own autobiography, saying it was a huge success. Now, we're not saying it didn't sell well, but who else has an overinflated sense of their own importance that would say something like that? Ian's leaning forward, and I actually have ran out of bed now. No more.
Ian Poulter. I think he is a ridiculous person. Seriously, I think he thinks he's a business. He wears stupid clothes, right? Now, they all wear stupid clothes, but he wears stupid clothes. And if Tiger Woods wore stupid clothes, we'd think less of him, wouldn't we? If he went out and wore big clown shoes and won 25 majors, we go, well, he's a brilliant golfer, but why is he wearing the clown shoes?
Loads of points for that. That's my favourite answer today. Ellie?
Well, I'm going to stick with the golf theme, actually. I think the officials and probably the American fans at Augusta, American golf fans, they obviously think that they should be out there playing.
Yeah.
How do you exactly? Anybody who thinks that that's a clever thing to shout, really, they deserve everything they get. How do you confuse an American golf fan? Tell him that he can't tuck his polo shirt into his chinos. They just look ridiculous. But also the officials at Augusta as well. I mean, Rory McIlroy, he kicked some sand. Yeah. He didn't kick a referee in the head like the taekwondo player in Beijing. Yeah. He didn't leap into the crowd with 2-footed like Eric Cantona did at Selhurst Park. I'm afraid, they just need to just come down a bit.
Still against the rules, Ellie. You just happen to be a rebel, you just happen to be a rebel. You can never accept the rules. You're always on the edge.
It's called fighting talk.
Yeah, that's why she's a great fighting talker. She never accepts the rules. She never bows to people who just publicise other people's podcasts and not ours. She's not that type of girl. She fights back. Have one of Bobby's points. Take one off Bobby. Thank you. Right, Robert, what do we think then?
I still like you.
Yeah. Have a back.
It's got to be Mourinho for me. I love it. I love him to death. I really, really do. And the classic last week, is in big problems with supporters and everything else. All of a sudden, he turns up at the Inter training ground in a Porsche 2-seater. I tell you what, he wasn't going to watch Crew Alexander Reserves, was he?
Very good, very good. And we'll finish this particular question with Greg. We're talking about people who have an overinflated sense of their own importance, Mr.